News alert. We're just now hearing from upstate social media experts saying that whether it's good or bad, President Trump is leading the way in online conversations compared to Joe Biden. 7 News reporter Asia Wilson tells us about the trends seen from Clemson University.
Well, researchers here at Clemson University social media listening room have been closely looking at online trends for the last 24 hours and analyzing that data every 4 hours. And they were able to find some interesting trends.
The 2020 presidential election has many still on edge in the upstate, including Clemson University students.
Definitely on edge to see what will happen in the coming days.
As President Donald Trump and his challenger Joe Biden wait to see if they'll be the next leader of the U.S., researchers at Clemson University Social Media Listening Center are tracking online chatter across the globe.
51% of the sentiment graded posts are being coded as positive, and then 48.6% coded as negative.
University social media experts say the main demographic of people talking about Biden or Trump are between ages 25 to 34 years old, and more than half of the chatter about either party is coming from women.
Donald Trump had over 2 times more of the conversation than any post that mentioned Joe Biden, and that came from supporters of Donald Trump to even people who stated that they want to vote Donald Trump out of the White House.
The university also completed an online emotional analysis which shows Trump is leading in keywords about joy and also keywords about fear.
Everybody kind of has a little bit of fears to how some people are going to react on both sides.
Out of millions of tweets monitored by researchers in the last 24 hours, they say thousands feel this election is one of the most stressful situations of the year.
Definitely a feeling of being unsure, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen.
And whichever way it goes, some say they want it all to be over soon.
More tension is probably going to build up, I think, if the longer people are going to have to wait.
Now I'm told social media experts here at Clemson will continue to look at presidential trends throughout the rest of the week. In Clemson, Asia Wilson, 7 News.
Researchers also say that they're seeing a lot of chatter coming from key battleground states right now. They also tell us supporters from both parties are just, sharing their hopes about their candidate being selected.